Let's focus on making each other better. Okay, obviously we're trying to do a lot individually and earn our spot, but the best thing we can do, make each other better, man. That's coaches, players, all of us, all right? Coaching on the floor, it's not just knowing what needs to be done, it's how do you explain and articulate to the other 5 people on the court now where they know what needs to be done. And it's different from knowing and different from explaining and teaching. And I found that with how I talk to players, how you communicate. Is it the same voice every time? Is it different tones? And are you clear? That's something over the first couple of years, I was fortunate to be thrown into the fire. You know, after year 1, Wojo got the Marquette job. And I think I did enough in that first year where Coach saw there was an incredible hunger. And I was fortunate he handed me the backcourt. So I worked with our guards every single day. That first year we won the national championship. You know, and I was lucky to be coaching guys like Tyus Jones and Matt Jones and Grayson Allen and Justice Winslow, and they spoiled me a little bit because there was a special group, but it also prepared me for how to advance in the profession.
You know, on days like today, it can be difficult to come up with the right words to express what Mike Krzyzewski has meant to Duke University, to college basketball, to our community and to our country.
He's a legend and an icon, a man of integrity who has always done it the right way.
The reason we're doing this is because Mickey and I have decided the journey's going to be over in a year. We've been a family, and then with all my guys, the guys who are on my staff, with Jon taking over after this year, he'll be incredible. Chris, Nolan, you know, all my former players who've come back to help coach, and it's been a family atmosphere.
Of course, beginning with my Duke interview back in 2008, there has been no shortage of inquiries, questions relative to Duke's men's basketball leadership succession. For Mike Krzyzewski's eventual departure would be dramatic, if not absolutely impossible to replace. I'm just so darn proud, Jon, and I've said to you 3 or 4 times, the fact that you won the job, and you did it intellectually, emotionally, and passionately. I'm just really proud.
Coach talked yesterday about the power of belief, and I won't take a moment for granted the belief that you've put in me. I am incredibly grateful and so thankful for this opportunity. I remember Coach had really given this a great deal of thought. And he knew in his heart it was his last year. You could just tell there wasn't any going back, because he had said things before where it may be this, or maybe 2 more years, but you could tell that this was final. That's the first thing I'll never forget, just the look on his face, and he was at peace with it. But the second thing was him wanting the success of our program to continue. He didn't want, you know, this to be where he stops coaching, then we just fall off the map, or Duke just isn't quite the same. And he basically talked about, would recruits come if they didn't know who the coach was? And what ideas do we have to move forward, and who could be the head coach? I don't even know what I was thinking at the time. But Chris did raise his hand and say, Coach, I'm not saying this because Jon's in the room, but we have the guy. Like, he's ready. Like, he knows what we've been doing the last few years. He's been preparing this for a long time, and there's no doubt in my mind he's the guy.
Of course, you think about the names. You know, we got some great names out there, you know, but for Duke now, you know, it just popped up. I didn't think it was nothing planned, and I just thought when Coach was asking it, I was just like, I'm thinking like, you know, I feel like we got a guy. That's how it was. I was like, Coach, I think we have a guy, and I think the guy's in this room. And kind of blurted it out, and I think everybody in the room was surprised, but I just, even him, you know. So.
You see that coach felt that way too. And obviously I knew pretty quickly on, just because he felt a certain way, didn't mean that was necessarily going to happen. And went through a 6-week search after that.
I think the mindset had always been, let's start with the Brotherhood and our former players who are in the coaching profession who might be a good fit for us. And so we did start there and really ultimately ended up with a great candidate pool that way. But it was a pretty in-depth process. And so it wasn't just one interview and, okay, Scheyer is our guy. We had an internal search committee. We were working with a search firm. And then Kevin White, our previous athletic director, and I were working together as kind of the outgoing and incoming athletic director, along with President Price, who was very heavily involved in the process as well. So Jon and all of our candidates had to go through several interviews.
The call from Nina King when she told me that I was named the next men's basketball coach for Duke University was by far the best call I've ever gotten. There's no offense to my wife. I love my wife. I've gotten a lot of great calls from her, my family. But that call will definitely stand out for a long time.
Jon was actually downstairs cooking, and I was upstairs probably doing something with the kids, and he ran upstairs and said, "We got it," you know, and I could believe it, but it was surreal and exciting.
I just think it was a balance of understanding what Duke has always been about, understanding the history of our program, and never forgetting those values, while still at the same time being prepared to attack this new chapter of college basketball, because at that time it was changing rapidly. It's accelerated times 10 since then. And then really being secure in who I am, understanding, of course, there are things I'm going to do that are similar to Coach K, because I've learned a lot from him, and I believe in what we've done. I also know there's things that I have to be authentic to myself, whether it's different or not. I'm not looking at it through that lens. I'm looking at it through, I've done the work of preparing to be a head coach and went through other searches, and I have my beliefs that I want to continue and just want to show my authentic self.
He was preparing for the next step before we even knew that coach was retiring. I think it was getting to the point in his career, and it's always been a dream of his to be a head coach. So we knew that was our next step, and we just didn't know where or when that was going to be, but I knew that was going to happen. I did not think it was going to be at Duke, and Jon actually was interviewing for other positions just before Coach decided to retire. And that was a little bit of a roller coaster for us too, trying to envision our lives in different places, different cities, different schools. But I really think it was meant to be.
I think the last piece is understanding this job, particularly following Coach K, comes with a big spotlight, big expectations, and just to be level-headed and roll with the punches, just like I did as a player. Same thing now as a coach. Know there'll be criticism. Know there'll be hopefully admiration after really good wins, and after tough wins, it can be the same thing where you're criticized. But just to stay level-headed, block out the noise, and I think they knew and they felt that I was prepared to do that.
You can feel confident Continental is the smart choice in tires.
Can they handle extremes?
Yep. Tested from the Texas desert to near the Arctic Circle.
Really?
Really.
Anything for the guy who finds that one pothole?
Yeah, road hazard coverage has your back.
For real?
Absolutely.
Were they made by like a bajillion engineers?
Well, closer to 100. Continental. Welcome to the smart choice in tires.
And it's obviously a great way to end our home court, but we gotta move on because we got a lot left to do. So appreciate it. Thank you.
The thing I'll say about coaching Jon Scheyer is that I loved every day I coached Jon Scheyer. Jon Scheyer never gave me a bad day, or his teammates a bad day. You can't say that about many people in anything. Jon Scheyer is very special young man and player. Always a team guy, and is really a good person. Smart basketball-wise. Every day I've enjoyed being with Jon. And we've become great friends. I love Jon. I mean, Jon is a good example of how every kid playing at any level should play at that level.
3-on-3, Smith all the way inside, out to Scheyer, 3, got it again!
Scheyer, as they open up the middle, he'll step back, take a 3, make a 3! You'd have to pick out Jon Scheyer.
Yeah, he'd be my choice as the MVP of the tournament. He really has been the catalyst for that. He's made big shots whenever they needed a big shot.
Career night for Jon Scheyer has led Duke to a 31-point lead.
Smith takes his turn at guarding him. He'll try to back him down, turns, puts it up, partially deflected. Scheyer takes it out of the air. Jump pass to midcourt to Henderson. Alley-oop, Ziegler with a two-man jam!
Oh boy, there's the play of the game.
Be a champion. It's no longer there. You are.
Yes.
Krzyzewski calls out a play, and here they go. Scheyer off the screen from Zulu. The ball comes to Scheyer, turns, shoots, got it!
Scheyer nails the three-pointer with 18 seconds left. Blue Devils now up 63-59.
I hope people remember me as a competitor. You know, I really hope that every time I stepped on the floor, you know, people knew Jon Scheyer was going to compete. And the other thing that I hope comes out is that my love for the game. You know, I just really love play basketball and love Duke so much and just want to represent it in the right way. And I hope people appreciate that I played the game the right way and just gave it everything I had.
I think the best thing that Jon does is he loves the game. He loves to prepare for the game. He loves to study the game. Jon's never had a bad practice, and he's never come to practice not ready to learn and work. I mean, that's the best example, because if you do that every day, whoever you are going to become with your talent, with your ability, you will have a greater chance of becoming that.
For Coach K to say that about me, that I showed up every single day, is really what I've always valued the most. And consistency is the truest form of performance. And you know, showing up every day, knowing that my teammates can rely on me, that means the most. And you know, I never missed a practice, never missed a game as a player. It was close a couple of times where, you know, thank God for Nick Potter and Jose Fonseca, where they, you know, one time at Boston College my senior year, my back was pretty messed up and they were able to make it work. But for me, that's what I take the most pride in, is showing up every day, giving it your all. May not be perfect, may not have the best practice, but I'm showing up every day and I'm bringing the same level of effort and intensity that's needed.
Jon was a great teammate. He was a great teammate, a selfless teammate, clearly there to win. He would do whatever it took. And you know, with Jon, there's a lot of things to his game, but his best thing, and people don't really talk about it, is his versatility. He could handle the basketball, he could shoot it, great decision maker. You know, he wasn't like this incredible athlete, but for what he had, he made the most of it. Not a great leaper, I tell him that all the time. But, you know, his effort, he's got this uncanny ability to find the basketball and make plays. And just an ultra competitor, I'd probably say that's another thing that, you know, took him to the level that he was as a basketball player, an All-American and a national champion.
I never cared about stats, still don't to this day. Stats help tell the story of what you need to do and what you need to improve on. But for me, it's always about what's best for our team, how can we win? And some days that was scoring, other days that was, you know, being our point guard, other days it was rebounding, defending, whatever that may be. And as long as we were winning, I was good with it. And now I did feel like, you know, we had a better chance of winning if the ball was in my hands, but really good players think that way. And so Coach K put me in a lot of different positions. You know, I started while I was here. I came off the bench. I was a point guard, I was a two guard, I was a combo guard. You know, we even had a couple lineups. I was the second biggest guy on the floor. So we weren't as good that year when we had those lineups, but I would do anything he asked, and that's what basketball is all about. It was my first loss when I realized that our program doesn't tolerate losing. And I was a freshman. We lost to Marquette in the CBE Classic, and I played really poorly. Again, I mentioned Gerald Henderson, and he's one of my close friends, and he played really poorly.
And I think we came out in that game, and we basically got punked. You know, Marquette was also a young team, but they were tough, and they had some really good guards that me and Jon were both looking to match up with. But you know, these guys were tough, and they outplayed us, and kind of made us look soft. You know, and I think we came out there. The tape, I'm sure we went over it a million times with Coach K.
And me and him after that game, we just got it from Coach. In the film session, got it from him, and you know, it wasn't acceptable how we played. You know, it was a good team that we played, and it wasn't just they made shots, we didn't. There's a lot of things that translate into winning and losing, whether it be, you know, getting the rebound, whether it be the attention to detail on a scouting report.
You know, he challenged us, you know, after that, because, you know, it's a national TV game. We're competing for a preseason kind of championship. And, you know, we just came out soft, and we learned a lot from that.
There's never been a loss here where Coach K has just swept under the rug. He's always addressed it. There's been a reason why we lost, and whether it be our mentality, whether it be our execution, and we address it. And then the best opportunity you have in sport is the opportunity to bounce back. And that's something that's really important to me with our program as we continue to have that same mindset. And you know, you're not gonna be perfect. Nobody expects you to be perfect, but when you have a setback, do you get back up and fight, or do you lay down and make excuses to why that happened?
From the outset of his senior season, Jon Scheyer has been to the tournament all 3 years, lost in the first round, then lost in the second round, then lost in the Sweet 16. It says nothing short of the Final Four is going to make his senior season satisfying.
There will always be bumps in the road, but we got guts, America. We got freedom. We got power. We got future. So let's drive on and make the future we want to see together. Because your new Ford vehicle is just the start of a journey. So stop by your Ford dealer today and claim one of the thousands of new Ford trucks and SUVs on their way. We've been building this country for 119 years, but we're just getting started.
Off the back of the rim, and the rebound down to Hayward. Tries to hook his way around. The shot is up, it is no good. The Blue Devils have won the national championship. Mission accomplished.
Winning national championships here has impacted my life more than I ever could have realized. One, I think I would have been miserable to be around if we had lost when I was a player. You know, just after going through what we did for 4 years, and it just meant that much to me. It really did. And then winning as a coach, just feeling the morning of the shoot-around against Wisconsin, working with Tyus Jones, shooting off a pick and roll, because they drop back on their ball screen coverage, and then to see him do what he did in the game is an incredible feeling. And then you see him on the cover of Sports Illustrated afterwards, after hitting one of those shots. It's an incredible bond that I'll always have with Tyus, but also just so proud in that moment. And so for me, both of them were incredible feelings, both in different ways. But it's impacted my life. I don't know, you know, the path that I've been on since. I don't know if that happens without winning. And that's something, again, hopefully we have more to go, but special feeling for sure.
People think easy going, but he wants to compete, man. That's why he was a great player here. Not that athletic, but he was a baller, but he was competitive. And so you gotta be ready to compete with him, because he's gonna go tooth and nail and fight you to the end. And so you can battle with a guy like that every day, every night, because you know he's gonna bring it, and he hates to lose, man.
So my initial mindset when I was young, I always wanted to coach someday, but I thought it would be after playing for the Chicago Bulls for over 10 years, and after playing at Duke and winning a national championship. And when those plans changed right when I left college, I had the eye injury. I played a couple years professionally, had a stint with the Clippers. I was in the G League, played in Israel, played in Spain. I really knew once you give it up, it's hard to go back, so you had to be sure.
Jon and I met shortly after he was injured playing, and he suffered from an eye injury. We met in the time where he was recovering from that. He was getting therapies to try and improve his vision. I did get to experience his career as a player. It wasn't at Duke, but as a player, and then seeing him transition once he made the decision to become a coach. I think being a coach is something that comes naturally to him. A lot of his coaches said that was a coach on the court. He kind of has that like coaching IQ, that made it easier, but I don't think he was done playing. I think that was a hard moment in his life to recognize that he's done playing and he's moving to the next thing.
Chris Collins at the time was taking the Northwestern job, and he's the one who initially reached out to me about joining his staff, and thought I'd be great. And of course, just like any big decision in my life, I talked to Wojo at some point, because he was still at Duke, and then I ended up speaking to Coach K. He said, well, if you're ready, and are you sure if this is what you want to do, then like, I love Chris and love Northwestern, but you need to come back home. You need to come to Duke. That phone call from Coach really changed my life, and coming back here was the right thing. I knew I was at peace in my heart that it was the right decision, and I was ready for that change, because it's the hardest change to make as a player. You never want to give it up, but I was ready for it. And fortunately, starting young, with the goal of being a young head coach, that dream ended up coming true.
Really, we're lucky to get him this early in his life. He should still be playing professional basketball, but after an injury, his pro career was cut short, and it gave him an opportunity to get here. And I latched onto him right away, because I knew he was going to be terrific, and as good as I thought he was going to be, he's better. And in the last few years, he's been my right-hand person and my associate, and he just has a great feel for the game, really good with people, outstanding recruiter, and has a humility, but also he has a competitiveness that I like.
Jon knows Duke. Jon is Duke, a very successful player, and then coming in as a special assistant to the coach, and then eventually an assistant coach, and really was prepared to be a head coach, whether it was Duke or somewhere else, and thankfully at Duke. But knowing the place, and again the type of student athletes that we bring here to Duke, who would be a great fit. And then Jon had done his homework. He'd done a lot of studying on succession, had really looked a lot at programs where succession behind an iconic head coach worked and where it didn't. And so really during the interview process, that came out under him understanding what could possibly make this be a really seamless transition. And I think it has been.
When this became possible, I did a lot of research on succession plans. And that was within sport, outside of sport. I talked to people who work in this field, who help companies transition. And I want to know what goes right and what goes wrong. And I found out with the most successful places, more times than not, it goes wrong than it goes right. I mean, you don't hear a lot of success stories, especially in sport. And so I'm well aware of the challenge that we face, although I think the way that we've done this succession plan is set up for success. Coach K has been really thoughtful about this whole thing, announcing it ahead of time allowed us to bring in really high character, really good players. It allowed us to be prepared to handle the staff changes that were necessary and the hirings that we had to make. And then obviously he's at peace with it. So we have a great balance of, I'm in constant communication with him while he still isn't trying to be the coach. He's allowing me, to be the guy, to be the coach. So it starts there. And then frankly, I've never thought about being the next coach at Duke. It was always, I wonder who's it going to be? And a lot of this comes down to opportunity and timing. And for me, it's a challenge, but what an incredible opportunity and responsibility to carry this program forward.
At Therabody, we believe that everybody deserves a chance to keep going, keep dancing, keep celebrating and reuniting.
It's never too late to rise. You got that fire in you. It's never too late to rise.
Because everybody is a Therabody.
I think the biggest thing in recruiting and giving a pitch is just to one, be honest, two, be yourself, and then to just tell your story. I think the cool thing about recruiting here at Duke is I played here, I went to school here, I sacrificed a lot of hours, and we won a lot of games, and this place means so much to me. So it's real easy for me to talk about why this is an amazing school, and when we identify the right guy, why he should come here, because I bled it, and so it's been really cool being able to recruit and to tell people my story about Duke and how it's not just a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year thing. It's a lifetime. It's a lifetime decision.
It's all about being authentic to who that recruit is, who that person is, and then where we are at that time. And we don't it's not a cookie cutter message where you tell everybody the same thing. You lay out the vision for that particular player, that particular person. And then for me, I think I've had to explain more, and really our relationship with any of the guys, it comes down to trust, right? Because I haven't been able to show them hands-on who I am as a head coach. They committed to me and to us without knowing that. And so of course there's the trust and the backing of what our program has stood for and Duke University, but also it comes down to just the belief in knowing what I'm talking about and really believing in that particular person.
Coach is a great person. He's really honest. I feel like I can trust him. He's got my full trust and I have his. He's just a great person overall, and that's one of the big reasons I came here. I think that mutual trust is really important in a coach and a player, and he showed that from day one and stuck by his word.
When Coach Scheyer first started recruiting me, I didn't know he was going to be a head coach yet. But I mean, as time progressed, I was starting to form this bond with Coach Scheyer, and we had a lot of similarities. Shared the same vision. What we both want, what we're both so passionate about with the game of basketball. Playing for Coach Scheyer, this was his first year. This was my first year too, so I wanted to make something special for myself, but also with the bond I grew with him, I wanted it to be something special with him as well. So I thought it was only right to start that off with being his first commit.
Derek and Kyle both committed within a week of each other. And I think Derek might have even told me first, if I'm not mistaken. And then Kyle announced it first. There's something like that, but with the two of them. And for both of them, that's a courageous thing to do at the end of the day for both those guys. It's still Duke and all that, but you're playing for a new coach. And so both of their announcements within 1 week of each other was something special that I won't forget. They really helped shape this class and define what it looks like now. And you got Jaden Schutt after, and then Derek Lively, and then Mark Mitchell, and then to get a Christian Reeves is great. Christian's gonna be a really good player here in time. And then obviously Tyrese was the last piece to that. But thankful for those guys. Somebody had to kick it off, and so the fact that Kyle announced it, then Derek did, is something I won't forget.
There's a reason every Odyssey is named after the Odyssey. Because the world's most famous story isn't about staying put. It's about being there. So for those who want a story to tell, we have a world full of places to start.
Push it as fast as you can. It's 2-on-1. And D-Live's goal right here. Come on, come back. You're not trying to make a stand here. You're faking at him, trying to make him hold up, let your teammate come back, and then play it out all the way until we finish the play. All right, finish the play all the way. Okay, here we go. When I look at our team this year, we have a lot of new, clearly, but we have a veteran guard back in Jeremy Roach who, really we rely on him to bring a lot to the table for us. And then adding the veterans and Jacob Grandison, Ryan Young, and then we're adding some young, really good players who are figuring out how to succeed at the college level.
With the talent that we had coming in, it's young talent, very talented, but it's still young talent that hadn't played in college basketball. So to get these guys to go against in practice, Max Johns, Akil Catchings, and you get a guy like Jacob Grandison, who's been a really good player in the Big Ten the last couple years with Illinois. And I'm pretty sure, and then Ryan, I mean, come on. Ryan Young at Northwestern, who's played in big-time games and played well. And so you bring these four guys into the mix, you don't have to tell them to talk. They already know how to talk, how to encourage, how to lead, how to work. Besides being really good players, they're kind of like an extension of coaches. You can have these guys on the coaching staff because they know how to lead a drill.
Yeah, it's a pretty unique roster. It's definitely different than what I'm accustomed to, but I'm excited to be able to bring in, a veteran voice into the locker room and on the court as well. There's a lot of, I'm one of the only experienced players on the court. I bring, probably over 100 games or close to 100 games of experience at the Power 5 level. So just being able to take the court with some of these young guys and be able to, hopefully show them the ropes as well as the other guys in the team.
I've been taking pretty much all of them under my wing, just trying to show them the ropes to the college games, because high school is way different than college, and I think coming early in the beginning, they kind of thought it was going to be easy, going to be like this, and just telling them, just keep harping on all 6 or 7 of the freshmen that it's not going to be easy. Like, you really got to lock in, put the work in, come in every day, be consistent. And I think that's the biggest thing that I got to harp on these young guys, is coming and being consistent, bringing energy.
We definitely want to play fast and push on makes and misses, and that doesn't mean we're shooting as fast as we possibly can. But we do want to put pressure on the defense, and then on the defensive end, we really want to protect our paint. And that can mean we're still pressuring the ball, but it's not where that paint has to mean something to us, and we've emphasized that. And playing fast isn't easy, right? Because if you play fast, the tendency is to just take the first good shot that you have, or just to take the quickest shot, when really you're pushing where you may have an opportunity to shoot fast, and that's fine, but what's the best shot for that team on that possession? And that's something we've coached a lot, and we're still learning, and we have a long way to go, but we feel that's the best place for our team to ultimately get to. And we've done a lot of game situations this preseason, and one of the reasons is we know we're going to be in close games, and we haven't been through it together before. So just trying to simulate that as much as possible, where we're prepared for those moments, we're not afraid of them, we're aggressive, and then also we can take advantage of time and score, knowing possession. Can we go with 2 for 1? Here's what we're doing down 2, here's what we're doing down 3. The more we put ourselves in that position, hopefully the better we can execute as we get into it during the games.
Coach has been great. Big emphasis is just playing hard every possession. But he's been great leading up to the summer, obviously watching all the videos and stuff back home, missing everything. It's just great to be here, and I feel like it's the energy that everyone brings is just really good every day. Everyone's really excited to lift and get on the court. I think the culture here is really special.
I love the conversations that Coach Scheyer and I had over the phone, and then when I came out of campus to visit, there was a lot of great young energy in the gym, and I believed in what he was telling me about, his goals and his aspirations for the team and what he wants this culture to be like, as him as the head coach. And I just really, I believed in what he was saying and bought into his vision. So I'm really excited to see where we can take it in his first year.
It's going to be the same identity, hard-nosed. We're going to get after you for 40 minutes, get up into you for 40 minutes, playing the right way. I think nothing really should change culture-wise. I think Coach Scheyer, he's obviously played for Coach K for 4 years, won a national championship with him, and then coached with him and won a national championship with that. So, I mean, Duke's always going to have that culture.
I've just tried to be me, and I think our team would tell you that they feel that from me. If I'm not happy, I tell them. If I'm happy, I tell them that as well. But I'm not easily satisfied. And ever since I was a young kid, I hated to lose. I love to win, absolutely love to win, but I always hated losing more than I love to win. At times growing up, those losses, I would have outbursts after some of those losses. I was able to control that growing up while still not losing that fire and that desire to win. Some of the things that I've looked back at my time playing here, coaching here, where we don't stop. I mean, no matter if we get knocked back, if we have a game we don't play as well, where we just keep coming at you. And I think the depth on our team can help with that. But that's my main message for the team. Defense and rebounding, play together on offense, and let it out there. Can't be where we're going into games tight or not wanting to make a mistake. Go after it, be aggressive, and defend.
People have trusted Reed's Jewelers with their life's moments since 1946. That's because we're family owned. We treat everyone who walks through our doors or visits our website as a part of our family. We have a beautiful selection of jewelry and watches for any occasion. We offer free shipping and returns, as well as multiple payment options to make sure you find the perfect gift. See why people have trusted Reed's Jewelers to celebrate their life's moments for over 75 years.
Looking to the left, instead he'll drive at the free throw line. Looking inside, not there, out for more, 5 to shoot. Now Roach, a 3-ball. Good! Big time for Roach, and the lead is 4. 1:07 to go, timeout, Michigan State.
That last NCAA March Madness run was some of the best moments of my life. And I will never forget that. And always when you play good, you're obviously gonna carry that confidence. So last year we made it to the Final Four. So coming into this year, I'm hungry to win, to get back to that same stage. So just coming in with that mindset and trying to get these guys to have that same mindset. Obviously, it won't be to the level of how I had it because they haven't experienced it yet. But just kind of informing them what's to come, what to be ready for, and stuff like that.
I think his confidence has grown since the end of last year, and what that tournament run did for him, you can tell he's always had a good way about him, but you feel a different level of not just hoping that he can do it, but he knows he can do it now, and that's translated to how he's shown up every single day in practice, and we need that to continue because he's really the only guy we have that has done it here at that level.
And now Moore, 7 to shoot, on the drive, a kick out for Roach, his 3, big time! Jeremy Roach dials it up, and the lead is 6.
Jeremy has always been a hard worker. That's the one thing with him. You can't keep him out of the gym. I'm telling you, man, I've been around a lot of guys. He's right up there in terms of the work he puts in. Playing good, he's in the gym. Not playing as well as he would like to play, he's in the gym. He's always trying to figure out shot, handle, tape. I mean, he's a worker, and that hasn't stopped. But the one thing that's changed is he's starting to become more vocal.
I knew he was good. I just didn't know he was as good as he has been. Throughout the summer and throughout the fall, he's been really good for us. And kind of the biggest thing, the next step for him is just being a leader. and being able to lead this team and realizing how big a voice he has, because he is the one person on the team who really had a significant role last year with the Final Four team. So we really need him to be vocal and lead everybody and bring everybody together and kind of be, an extension of the coaching staff.
For the most part, I was just kind of leading by example, kind of just making sure I was good. Not like I wasn't focused on the whole team, but at the same time I was focused on what I needed to do. But now this year it's kind of what the team needs to do. And they kind of see me as the big bro on the team. So if I'm doing something wrong, and then they're gonna probably look at it. So this leadership role makes me lock in a lot more, and it makes me better, because I have to be on my P's and Q's at all time.
We need him to do everything on the floor, and we need him to score. We need him to play make for others, and we need him to defend, all while probably playing a lot of minutes. And so my biggest challenge for him is not to skip steps. Have great attention to detail, because he's been there before. I mean, he's just been there. We're in the Final Four. He's our starting point guard, and again, it'll be that way this year. And he's done a really good job of that. And just want him to be fully aggressive. Just be yourself, be you, go for it. And then I'll go to bat. I'll have your back any day of the week.
Just one thing that Scheyer always says, I mean, he's been saying this since my freshman year, like, I always believe in you, like, just that's big to me, just to know that my coaching staff has my back. Even though when you feel like you're not actually doing your best, you're not playing your best, and he still comes up to you and says, I believe in you, like, that's something I'll always remember.
It was an easy decision. I had the team vote on captains, and every single player on the team voted for Jeremy, and so did our staff. And we all looked to him. He's the guy we want leading us, and we're really proud of the strides that he's made in 2.5 years here, and I know he's got more to go.
Since being here, he's sort of helped me on and off the court, just getting a feel of everything. And then on the court, he's been great, just teaching me little things, just trying to get me more involved. He's a great leader. I think all the boys are getting impacted by him on the court, and then just off the court, just being good friends, and just him showing me around and just getting a feel of the culture, like you said.
Who will it be? It'll be Jeremy Roach, but drives and lays it in to make it a 3-point game.
I think this play right here, actually, it was the Gonzaga game in Vegas, big time scene, 30-some thousand in there. I think we were up 1 with like 40 seconds left. I made a little jab step and then hit the left-hand layup to put us up 3. That was the beginning of the year, but that was like, that moment kind of like raised my confidence a little bit, just to know that I was kind of ready for the big moment.
Roach on the drive, got inside, off the window and the lead is 3. A spectacular display, and Duke wins it 84-81.
I need to try it first.
A big bow box says a lot about a person. Like they have a mighty hunger, a powerful thirst, and take tailgating very seriously. Game day and beyond, grab a football-ready big bow box.
It is a little bit of a different morning. I don't know that it's fully all hit me yet, to be honest with you, but it's these last 48 hours, man, it's been incredible, the amount of messages, calls, text. It's been overwhelming, and you think about the history of our program, you think about all the players who have come through, you think about our current team, you think about the fans and the people where Duke basketball means so much to them, and it's an incredible responsibility to carry this forward.
Why is Coach Scheyer the one? For one, obviously a tremendous player here, helped build this program. Was a great assistant coach for a long time. A big reason why I came here, recruited me. So I'm super excited for him. I think he's going to do an amazing job. He's, I still have a great relationship with him to this day. We talk all the time, and he's a big reason why I come back. So I'm proud of him. I couldn't be happier for him. And he's going to be amazing.
You know, Scheyer's the right choice. That's my guy. You know, he's been groomed to do this. He knows what he's doing. You know, I have faith in him. We all do. I think he's going to do a great job.
I think Jon is going to do an excellent job. Coach Scheyer is hungry. He has a growth mindset, and his competitive desire is second to none. And so really excited to support him. We know he's going to do great things in this new chapter of Duke basketball.
Obviously, his knowledge for the game very high. He's a player's coach. Obviously, someone like myself has a great relationship with him, but I know how easy it is to get along with him, and also having that respect for him as a coach and not crossing the line ever. But I think he'll be a perfect fit and continue the winning tradition in this program.
You know, and being his teammate, he always met the challenge. He always rose to the moment. Really, that championship year, he was incredible, and he was such a model to you know, aspire to be within the program. That he was a teammate that commanded the respect of the locker room, the coaching staff, and he's somebody that you could follow. And I think that's what you want in a coach, and I think that's why he's going to be great.
The Brotherhood means a lot to all of us, and we've grown it over the years, and it's now become a thing. You know, we've always talked about it like, you know, it's a brotherhood, but, you know, now we got our own shield and all that stuff, and got our own group chats and whatnot, and do our own Zoom calls. And so I think we were probably sure that it was coming. It was going to be somebody that's played at Duke that was going to coach here, but now that we know who it is, you know, I know myself and all the guys are behind him and want him to do well, want him to be great. And you know, we know that he's going to put the work in and have the best interest of all our guys and the guys that have been there, the guys that are there, to make us, you know, great like we've always been. And you know, we have our full confidence and you know, respect, and know that he'll do his thing.
I believe there is a lot of pressure, and I believe that he knows it as much as anyone. And I think I'm impressed with how he handles it, but he really just is trying to focus on the task at hand and making this into, you know, what he's true to himself and what he is going to do here. I think he's going to do very special things, but he's got to feel it, you know, but that might make it a little bit better.
I think that's the biggest responsibility that I feel, is because the Brotherhood, the former players that have come through our program, I think it's not comparable to any other program. That's no disrespect to anybody, but you think about the players, the people that have gone on to do great things in sport, in the NBA, in basketball, and the pride that they have in our program. I want them to feel every bit a part of it, just like they have with Coach K. And frankly, I tell them we need them as much now as we ever before, because during transitions, during these kinds of moments, you can lose some of that. And it's important for us going forward. Our program has always been about our players. Our program will always continue to be about our players, former, present, future, and that's the greatest responsibility that I feel. It's an honor. The support that I felt from them reaching out has been absolutely incredible, and I can't wait to see them back for games and moments in the future.